Been dreaming of owning your very first home, but it's just too expensive out there, especially in the big cities. You're not a big city person. Well, today I want to share with you the top 10 cities in the White Mountains of Arizona that are all eligible for the USDA loan. We're talking these entire cities are in a USDA eligible area, which means they qualify for zero down, no money down for any property as long as it's your primary residence in any of these cities that I'm going to mention. They're all located in the White Mountains of Arizona, which is near and dear to my heart because that is where I grew up. But the White Mountains in Arizona, it's kind of a fun little thing. You know, Arizona, you always think desert, cactus, and for those of us that live here in the valley, that's really what we have. But if you travel just a few hours north, we've got tons of pine trees, snow resorts, so much cool stuff. I grew up in the small town of Holbrook, Arizona, so that is going to start with number one on our list. Holbrook, Arizona. So I mentioned it many times, it is my hometown. I grew up there, very near and dear to my heart. It's right on the original Route 66. And guess what? The entire town of Holbrook is in a USDA eligible area. So you can get a zero down loan if you're planning to live there. But let's go over some stats about Holbrook. So the population in Holbrook, at least as of 2022, just under 5,000 people, 4,858 people. The median household income was right around 58,856. Employment rate is 42.8%. Holbrook was founded in 1881 and named after Henry Randolph Holbrook, the chief engineer of the Atlantic and Pacific Railroad. All right, I'm gonna go off book real fast because I actually know this one. Originally, Holbrook was called Horsehead Crossing. It was around back in the Old West days. There's a really cool old building, old historic building there called the Bucket of Blood Saloon. It was back during the days of like, you know, Billy the Kid and all the outlaws. So Holbrook was kind of like where all the outlaws would hang out. And so in that saloon, fights would break out. When they would mop up all the blood, there would literally be buckets of blood that they would have to pull out. So it got nicknamed the Bucket of Blood Saloon. When I was 14 years old, my Eagle Scout project was to create a monument for that historic building, and it's still there to this day. So if you ever visit Holbrook, Arizona and check out the Bucket of Blood Saloon, the monument right there in front, I built that as part of my Eagle Scout project with some other local individuals from the community. So Holbrook is a very, very tight-knit community town, as you know, most small towns are. I still to this day, I'm on my Holbrook, Facebook page. Everybody still helps each other out. The second they find out you're from Holbrook, if you're there, they just treat you like family. And if you're planning on moving there, or if you tell anyone that you're planning on moving there, they will immediately treat you as family. So I'm just a huge fan of Holbrook, especially with the world that we live in today, where you can work remotely and pretty much, work from anywhere. Why not check out Holbrook, Arizona? Very affordable homes. I've seen some for less than $200,000 there. They've got a big array of different types of properties. If you want land, kind of get out and play in the desert, lots of really, really cool stuff in Holbrook. So be sure to check that one out. Greer, Arizona. Greer, if you've ever heard of that, is a tiny, tiny little town in the White Mountains of Arizona. You ready for the population of Greer? Again, this is as of 2020, so it's a few years old. I'm sure it's grown a little bit. 58 people. 58! But it does jump in the summertime to over 1,000. So obviously this is more of a seasonal place. A lot of people buy cabins, second homes. But it is a fun little town. So if you're looking for kind of a sleepy little town where there's definitely not a lot of people, Greer should be on your list. It's the highest town in Arizona with an elevation of 8,400 feet, unincorporated community, and a census-designated place in the Apache County, surrounded by Apache Sitgreaves National Forest. The median age for individuals there is 61, so it's definitely more of kind of a retirement spot. But hey, let's turn that around. Get some young families in there, start opening it up. Best part is the entire town of Greer qualifies for that USDA loan if it's going to be your primary residence. Keep in mind, you cannot buy a second home, vacation home, or a rental property using a USDA loan. But Greer is super cool. Lots of really cool stuff there. Another great little spot in the White Mountains is Eagar, Arizona. Eagar is a legit little spot. It is nestled at the base of the White Mountains, northeastern Arizona. It serves as a central point to the region's recreational opportunities. So whether you want to go skiing, snowboarding, check out awesome fall colors, the nice warm spring weather, cool summer nights. You get 4 seasons in Eagar, which you definitely don't get in Phoenix, Arizona. Very low crime rate, small town atmosphere, very easy to get to, tons of transportation, very affordable living, just a rich, rich history. Tourism is one of the biggest parts of Eagar. It's got over 2 million acres of forests, lakes, trout streams, just all kinds of stuff. So if outdoor living is for you, if you love to fish, if you love to hike, hunting is big out there, Eagar is your jam. plenty of affordable homes. And because it's on this list, obviously it qualifies for the zero down USDA loan. Another one of my absolute favorite places. It's extra special for me because I actually do own another home there as well. This is where my family likes to escape to, and that is Pinetop-Lakeside. Pinetop-Lakeside is right in the White Mountains of Arizona as well. I've made tons of videos. I'm gonna give my cabin a little plug. It's available for rent if you want to check it out. It's filling up fast. Me and my family love to head up to Pinetop, especially in the summertime when it gets too hot. 30 degrees cooler there in the summertime than it is here. Right there, tons of pine trees. We call our cabin the Hidden Pines cabin because it's in this, quiet little neighborhood. I've met most of my neighbors. They're all super cool, even though I'm just there a few times a year. Pinetop is just a super legit place and it is growing big time. So be sure to check it out. And again, if you want to live there as your primary residence, zero down USDA loan, tons of outdoor activities. There's lakes, there's streams, there's hiking trails. You're a very short drive to the ski resort. It's about 20 minutes to get to the ski resort. So I love to head up there and go snowboarding in the winter months. And they do get a decent amount of snow, but it doesn't get crazy cold. It does get below freezing sometimes. I actually had my pipes freeze one year because I forgot to drip them. So if you would like to purchase it as a second home, you can't do zero down, but there's a lot of good investment opportunities in that area right now as well. So Pinetop, check it out. All right, up next we got the town of Snowflake, Arizona. It's kind of right in between Pinetop and Holbrook, so it's about 30 minutes from Holbrook and about 30 minutes from Pinetop. Very historic. So the town of Snowflake, it was founded by the LDS pioneers, the Mormons up in Utah. There was a handful of them that kept going down to Arizona, and Snowflake was kind of where they settled. A lot of LDS individuals that live in that town. There's a lot of all kinds of people, but just so you know, it is predominantly LDS or Mormon. On their main website, it says it's where the pioneer spirit still lives on. It's, very small town, very friendly. This is kind of one of those little small towns that I feel like kind of reminds you of the towns in the movies, right? It still has that old main street, and lots of fun little restaurants. There's a great smokehouse where I still buy lots of beef from. I am just so shocked at how much it's growing. It's still on the list for now, but because it's growing so much, it may not be on that list forever. So if you're thinking about moving to Snowflake, Arizona, you might want to do it sooner rather than later so you can take advantage of these zero down programs and get in with the USDA loan. Globe! Now, Globe is kind of a fun little town. Where we live, we like to go through Globe through the canyon because the canyon's really gorgeous to drive through. It's a hidden little gem. They've got just amazing weather. A lot of people take little day trips there, but it's a great little place to live. Obviously, tourism is a big part of it, but one of the nice things as well is that zero down USDA loan. You can get into Globe, buy a house literally anywhere in the entire city, and it qualifies for that zero down program. There's a historic mine park, the Old Dominion Historic Mine Park. There's a sports complex, old school cinema, classic old school small town stuff. But again, it's in Arizona, and because it's still not super deep in the White Mountains, it really doesn't get crazy cold there. I don't really think it snows in Globe. Globe, legit, check it out. Up next on our list is St. John's, Arizona. Another awesome little town up in the White Mountains of Arizona. I have a handful of people that I know from St. John's, and some of the best people I've ever met. So the few people that I know that are from there are awesome. So the rest of the town's got to be pretty cool too. They were one of our rivals in high school, for sports. So we went to St. John's, played sports. My younger brother may or may not have cleared the entire bench and stand for a massive fight when he was in high school. So that was pretty cool. It was a pretty big deal. Small town stuff. No, small towns is so fun. And St. John's is just one of those classic small towns. Everybody helps each other out, big into farming, lots of, kind of that area. Just good everyday people. Some of the attractions that are available, they've got a historical society museum. They have 4 places that are on the National Register of Historic Places. Old school town, been around for a long time. It is near a quarry. So there's tons of fossils that were discovered there back in the 1930s. It's the shortest and most scenic route from Phoenix to Albuquerque, New Mexico. And of course, zero down because the entire freaking town qualifies for the USDA loan, and you can buy a house there for literally no money out of pocket. And then not too far from St. John's is the small town of Springerville, Arizona, also located in the White Mountains, the heart of the growing Southwest. Originally established in 1879 at an elevation of 7,000 feet, and it was incorporated back in 1948. They call it the gateway to the White Mountains. So Springerville, very pretty, very clean. You get the full 4 seasons there. It's the home of Arizona's Madonna of the Trail statue. And 20th Century Fox filmed an adaptation of Fred Gibson's novel The Home Place, titled Return of the Texan, at several locations in and around Springerville. There you go, there's in a movie. Again, 0 down for anywhere you want to live in Springerville is eligible for that USDA loan. Up next on our list, this one is actually one I've never been to, and I kind of had to look at it. It's McNary, Arizona. It is a tiny, tiny little town, like less than 1,000 people. Obviously, it's going to qualify for the USDA loan, 0 down. So let's see what we can find out about McNary. Definitely a very outdoorsy town, you know, lots of lakes, hiking trails. Population of 980 people, from which 99.4% are citizens. What does that mean? So as of 2022, 1.12% of McNary, Arizona residents were born outside of the country. 11 people. So there's 11 foreigners in McNary. Half are under 18. So it's a pretty young area, actually. 30% are between 25 to 44 years of age. So McNary, don't know much about it, but another very, very small town. Looks like it's kind of an up and coming place. Kind of a lot of, you know, people within 22 to 40 years of age. So check it out. If anybody's from McNary or been there, give me some fun stats. I'm sure it's a lot cooler than I'm making it sound. And then Pine or Strawberry. Pine, Strawberry, Arizona is, again, just another little very, very small town located in the White Mountains. There's not going to be many people there. I got to pull that up real fast. Really? They only go back to the year 2000 for their census? They're 24 years behind? So there was 2,000 people there 24 years ago. We don't know today. But no, Pine, Strawberry, I actually know quite a few people that have like cabins. You know, it's definitely one of those more secondary locations, right? Like it's a place where you would go visit for the summer to get out of the heat or to go enjoy some snow during the wintertime. It's very similar to like Pinetop, but definitely not as many people. So if you need to go like grocery shopping or, you know, if that's part of your jam, that Pine, Strawberry is probably not for you. But if you want to live like Ron Swanson, where you're just out in the woods and no one's around you for hundreds of miles and you just want to live off the land and don't want anyone to bother you, Pine and Strawberry is definitely the place for you. Be sure to check it out. And if you want to live there as your primary residence, 0 down with the USDA loan. So these have been my top 10 homes to check out in the White Mountains of Arizona. Again, I love the White Mountains because number one, I grew up in that area. And now that I live here in the Valley, I have a second home that we go visit so that I can still enjoy it to this day. So if you'd like to know what it would take to get you into a house with a USDA loan, 0 down, or even just any other options, maybe as a second home or whatever, be sure to give me a call, hit me up on my website, schedule an appointment, be real quick to go over everything we can do to make homeownership a reality for you today.